How important do you think last night's debate was for these contenders and for the American people?
It was very important that the American people were exposed to a lot of the arguments, and not just the personality arguments, really the substantive ones. If you would say, what was I most disappointed in last night? I think we gave short shrift to things like China. I mean, that barely got a ripple of attention last night versus the focus on, will you support a convicted former president of the United States if he's the nominee? I think we lost out in learning more about the options that are really truly in front of us, that are not being presented by the current administration. I don't think we got a lot of that other than right off the bat in economics and the whole thing about Bidenomics, which I would equate to the early days of Obamacare. I mean, I think that is something that where the president set himself up for a big fall with the idea in braggadocio fashion that somehow he has unlocked the keys to the economic future of the nation.
I was really surprised China wasn't a larger topic last night. I was in Iowa at the Iowa State Fair just 2 weeks ago, and that's what candidates were talking about the most. Aside from the economy, they were talking about China, China, China. Do you think that's to the detriment of Bret Baier and Martha McCallum? How do you think they did as moderators?
I give them an okay score. I thought at the end of the debate when they went the lightning round and threw the UFO question in, I mean, that's like clickbait stuff, right? And that had no place in that debate. I'm sorry they went that way. I didn't think the opener was all that sharp either. They thought they were being creative with the song coming into the debate. That was, I think, unnecessary. And I think at times they lost control of the debate. However, that debate stage was not one that was going to be controlled, right? However, they tried to, despite their best efforts to keep everyone in line, that wasn't going to happen. But the China question, which I think is on the, as you say, is on the minds of a lot of people, and should be actually one of the biggest assets in the quiver of any Republican nominee going against the current president. That really got almost no attention, and it has to, because what we know is ahead is going to fill volumes of history books to come in the new competition among the two big superpowers on the planet.
Moderating that debate is definitely a job. It might be a thankless job, I would say. But what other topics do you think that were missed that you wish were discussed more? Because they did hit a wide array, but there weren't many deep dives.
Yeah, I think one of the more interesting things is, law and order has always been something that's been a staple of Republican rhetoric, right? More police on the streets, obeying the laws. I think someone said, we need to have a nation where laws apply to everyone, and there's not a selectivity to it. I thought that Governor Christie, like the most telling point he had was talking about his experience as a prosecutor and how prosecutors and DAs across the land are not enforcing the laws, they're choosing not to. And actually, DeSantis mentioned in his remarks that he took two out of play. I mean, literally, he retired them early because they weren't, in his opinion, upholding the law. I think that's a more promising way for Republicans to move forward. And they all agree that America's cities, in terms of law and order, and homelessness was also in that category, are a mess right now. They blame it on lack of leadership. I think we need big answers in America's cities because I think everyone believes that if they continue to head south, there's no path that has the country heading north.